long enough to get to Pelucanos is going to be able to get the job done. So Jim's matchup here should be pretty solid.
Sean happy with his opener. He's going to keep. Jim going to send it back. So he'll be looking at a new hand here in just a moment. See if he can find 6 that he's happier with. We'll learn more about Jim Davis right now. Jim, of course, our Season 1 points champion. We call him number 84 because that's how he signs things, but he's a big hockey guy.
Yeah, plays a lot of recreational hockey. Big hockey fan, New York Rangers guy.
It was tough for him to watch the Rangers lose. 2 invitational top 8s, 8 Open Series top 8s with 1 win. We saw that earlier this year. He's also got a Grand Prix top 8 in Dallas. Teaches writing, local DJ, and as we mentioned, loves hockey. I know the Rangers loss was tough for him to take. However, our director, a big Blackhawks fan, he's perfectly fine with the Rangers losing.
Sports is pretty miserable. Gotta say, me, you, Jim, some shared suffering here, whether it's losing a Game 7, whether it's one of your star players fracturing a kneecap, whether it's being up 3-1 in a series and losing.
Yeah.
It's rough all around.
I think now I just want everyone to lose.
Right.
If that would be okay.
Yeah. Welcome to my world.
A lightning berserker is how Sean Park starts things off. Jim with a Temple of Abandon. He'll put the top guard to the bottom, past that turn back. Look at that Titan strength on the upkeep. Somebody looking for another land here. Well, found it.
Sort of an interesting feature here of Sean's deck because you associate the bigger red builds with not necessarily wanting something like Titan strength.
Yeah. It's an attack here for 5. Davis is already down to 15. Oh, there's a Rattle Claw missed to get in the way of the Berserker.
So Sean with Flame Wake Phoenix in his deck, which makes Titan strength a lot more reasonable.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a combo.
Swift Spear the draw. Yeah, he's got a much different build of red. Has a copy of Roast in hand. You'll find that in most red decks. There is the Swift Spear. Everybody's coming in. See how Jim wants to block here, if he wants to block at all. Look in front of the Berserker. Time to Titan Strength. Target the Swift Spear. You also get a Prowess trigger, so that'll be 3, 4, 5 points of damage yet again. Or are we targeting the Lightning Berserker? It's unclear at this point.
I hope for Sean's sake that it's the Swift Spear.
I do too. +3/+1 is not going to help. It looks like it may be on the Berserker.
So it goes.
Yikes. Park will be scrying. Yep, he's losing both his cards there. Swissberg gets a little bit more damage through because of the Prowess trigger. But
he's still down 3 on that, and 3 is a lot.
That's a pretty big misstep there, and this is going to compound that. Courser in the passing of the turn. Park will draw a card.
I mean, Sean's still got some game here. He's got Roast and a good top end as well. But being down 3 points here, I mean, Jim being at 8 versus 11 feels like a huge difference.
That's night and day when you're playing against a deck that has life gain, like Jim's deck does. You just can't afford to miss those points of damage.
You also don't know when Jim's just going to lock up the ground entirely.
Yeah.
And it's something Green Devotion's very well equipped to do.
Morph is a Rattle Claw Mystic. Pass the turn back. Park will draw. There's a mountain.
Well, Sean can now go to the skies here.
Well, which is a great place to be.
That's a really explosive hand too. Titan Strength, Lightning Strike. Flame Wake Phoenix is a really solid setup.
He'll take down the Morph and then Titan Strength the Swift Spear to try to get as many points of damage as possible. There's a Scry. Top card going to stay on top, so this is going to be an attack for 6.
And I like this play a lot from Sean because he may never get those Prowess triggers back. You know, you don't know when Green Devotion's going to lock up the ground. In fact, he's doing it right now. So it's good for Sean to squeeze as much as possible out of the Swift Spear now and then hope that the Flyers and Burn spells can finish off the game.
Well, he just drew a Burn spell. And here's a Flyer. So Flame Wave Phoenix is going to come across in the air. Davis is going to go down to 3. And I believe the draw was Stoke the Flame. So if that's the case, we might be heading to a 3rd game here in just a moment. Davis will draw a card. Picked up a mountain. You see the rest of his hand, it's just lands.
Yeah, Jim's got to figure out if there is even anything for him to manifest into right now.
He's going to start by attacking. No sense in holding back. Another Wishwood Elemental. That means it would give him two. I mean, play makes sense. Gives him 2 manifests. He just needs to hope that his opponent has nothing. The opponent certainly has something. There's an attack. There's a Stoke the Flames. Yep, that'll take care of game number 2. So Sean Park will win game number 2 here over Jim Davis. Mono Red Aggro and Greener Devotion are going to get ready for a 3rd game.
And Sean shaking his head a little bit. Maybe a misstep, maybe a little bit of camera jitters. I think he knows that Titan Strength missed the mark a little bit.
Just a touch.
But didn't end up costing him.
Thankfully for him, that is the case. So Jim will be on the play here for game number 3. We'll talk about SCG Game Night right now. Got a new one for you guys for August. We are in June at this point, which means the bunny.
Yeah, you can see it on our lapels this weekend. Your stores can sign up for this at srcgames.com/game night or contact their organized play representative. There's a new kit every month. Set up game night however you want to. Just get the players in your store for some fun and friendly magic. This is the June kit. The July kit, Piglet. Too late to get signed up for this one, but if you want to get signed up for August, which we have here, August will be Monkey Month, which I really enjoy saying. Just throwing that out there. Head over to StarCityGames.com/game night or contact your organized play representative.
I'm glad you're not still accusing that monkey of stealing those bananas.
Well, I mean, property rights among animals in the jungle is already kind of a fuzzy concept, but he looks like he feels like he's getting away with something right now.
I think he's just really happy. Maybe getting a workout in?
Well, you see with the bananas falling off to the side, that means the monkey is more concerned about getting wherever he's going quickly rather than having all the bananas. Usually, that's someone stealing something. My experience. But again, what's great about it is the playmats come out eventually, and we get to see the full art concept, and then we get to know what's going on.
See, what we don't know is that he's probably being chased by something.
Exactly.
Yep. Like, hopefully, the hippo we've been asking for.
Larger monkey, maybe.
Also true. Also true. Maybe a dinosaur. Who knows?
Yeah. Typically, and you can translate this over into real life in all sorts of situations, when you see someone running with a bag of something and things are falling out of that bag, but they don't seem to really care that things are falling out of the bag, they care more about running to wherever they're going to. Not all the time, but typically means that person just stole something. That's
just the life lesson.
Right.
That's just what that is.
That's just some real New Jersey talk right there. Not a lack. I'm not saying
that's
for
important.
sure.
That's important that you clear it up. It's not always the case.
Not always the
case. Just most of the time.
There's just a good chance that's what's going on.
Those bananas belong to someone that's not that monkey.
Right. Most likely.
Yeah.
Again, we're not here to determine guilt.
Well, we'll see how these players do sideboard. If you are just joining us, we appreciate having you, obviously. Cedric Phillips, Patrick Sullivan. Can't forget about Matthias Hunt, who will be coming into the booth for the next 2 rounds to close out day number 1 with Patrick. We've also got Ken Crocker, Nick Miller on the sideboard. The entire SCG Live crew is here for the Season 2 Invitational from the Origins Game Fair in Columbus. At SCG Live, hashtag SCGINVI for your tweets all weekend long. As we make our way through 8 rounds today, 8 rounds tomorrow. We'll cut to a top 8 at the end of tomorrow, and then we'll have a bunch of magic for you as we work our way towards crowning a champion, giving someone $10,000, an invite to our Players' Championship, and most importantly, their likeness on a card.
Yep. Very exciting weekend also for you Modern fans out there, as we have Modern as the invitational, or one of the 2 invitational formats for the first time ever. A 2-day $20,000 Open Series event tomorrow. So a lot of deck lists to pour over right before Grand Prix Charlotte, also hosted by Star City Games, which will be Modern. So a good 2-week stretch if you enjoy playing the format, if you enjoy watching the format, no better place to be.
Yeah, I loved watching the format earlier today. I'm looking forward to tomorrow morning as well for watching all of those matches. Modern is just really sweet. It really, really is.
It feels like the sandbox is big enough for everyone to play in. There's all sorts of different decks you can play, whatever style of magic you like, there's something available, without having to have some of the more extreme features of Legacy, which could be funny, but not always the best gameplay. Wasteland locks, first turn kills. I appreciate they happen. They're part of the character of the format, but sometimes it can be a little awkward to cover those kind of matches, and you don't really see that in Modern.
It's a welcome change.
Yeah. But listen, I like Wasteland Locks too. I love I love the whole puzzle. A little bit of everything is good for me.
Yeah. Just not too much.
Not, too many Siege Rhinos, I get a little bit bored.
Yep.
Too many strip mine locks, get a little bored of that too.
Yeah.
Too many cryptic commands, get bored of that too. It's good to have a little bit of everything. So it's nice to have a 2-week stretch where Modern is going to be the real focus.
Jim going to keep his opening hand. We'll see if Sean will do the same. Does not look to be happy. He'll send it back. See if our mono red player can find a little something better. See the Unwritten is an interesting inclusion in Jim's deck. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen more of that card over its lifespan.
Well, I think the problem is that usually, these decks that have that kind of potent top end could just play another top end threat. Jim is playing a Green Devotion deck, but he's not really looking to go to 20 mana like a lot of these decks. It's not a Genesis Hydra kind of deck. So this is his way of capping off his curve that fits into a more normal mana acceleration game. He doesn't have to go crazy with Nykthos for his deck to function.
Yeah, he's not even a 4 Nykthos deck. He only has 3.
He only has 3. So he definitely could do some crazy stuff with Nykthos, but he's not looking to go all the way to the top, and see the Unwritten can be a really potent late game card for him.
And this just shows yet again that there are many different ways to build a deck within just one archetype.
Yeah. If you have 6 or 7 mana, See the Unwritten is probably more powerful than Genesis Hydra. Once you have 20 mana, Genesis Hydra is a lot more powerful than See the Unwritten. So that's really the break point, I think, between a build like Jim's and a build like Brad Nelson's and Chris Van Meter's that we saw last round.
Sean will take a look at 6 cards, among them an Outpost Siege. Jim patiently waiting as he'll be on the play here this game.
I'm not really thrilled with a card like Outpost Siege being in Sean's deck post-board, because I think that his advantage is all early on. If he tries to play a long game against Jim, he's going to get swallowed up most of the time.
Lightning Berserker to start things off, and Davis with a Forest. There's a carry added. There's another Mystic, pass the turn back. He's looking to ramp into something big. Flamewake Phoenix to draw. Does Sean have land number 2? It does not appear to be the case. Well, he'll just play Berserker, pass the turn back. You can see some visual frustration there.
Yep. Although even if he had his land drops, there's not a lot for Sean to do on the ground this game.
Yeah.
He needs to get the Thunderbreak Regent and Flamewake Phoenix as soon as possible, and even that's not going to be good if Jim has Arbor Colossus.
Which he has in his hand. And a single Arbor Colossus can end this game. Can't roast that one. Look at that tough Elvish Mystic coming into the red zone.
Oh, that's not a good sign.
No.
Not a good sign for Sean.
There's an Arbor Colossus and a passing of the turn. Park will draw. It's a Thunderbreak Regent. That's not a land. All he can do is pass the turn back. Davis will draw. It's a Forest. And Jim's hand, not all that great, truth be told, but it's good enough. He's attacking with all of his creatures at this point. Arbor Colossus is the biggest thing going.
This card is a real beating on mono red.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like an Arbor Colossus matchup, but you can't kill that thing.
No.
And a lot of your best tools, a lot of the top end of your curve against a deck like Green Devotion, they're going to be flyers. That's how you're going to try to steal games when the ground gets locked up. It's outside of roast range too, which is really significant now.
Yeah, there are cards that are big like this where, if Sean were to peel land and just roast it away, you go, okay, he can work his way back into this thing, but a 6/6 is just too much.
Yep.
Jim will play the last 2 cards in his hand there, and Death Mist Raptor and Sylvan Caryatid. Kick the turn back. Park will draw. It's an Arc Lightning. And I think in just a few short turns here, Patrick, Jim Davis is going to be moving on to 5-1. Not even going to take another turn, as Sean knows he is beat. Jim Davis is going to win this match 2-1. He's 5-1 right now. Green-Red Devotion, his weapon of choice here in Standard. I know talking to Jim a little bit earlier today, too, he was not too thrilled with the modern portion of the tournament as far as what deck to choose. He wasn't